I remember the day the first time I met you. It was unexpected. I can feel the excitement in my eyes as I look in the mirror, shining like the stars on the horizon. And from that moment, I knew that something good and bad is about to unfold. Tomb Raider: The Angel of Darkness was once the most anticipated video game for the PS2 back in the day. It's touted as the next-gen Tomb Raider experience for the console at that time. It even had a short teaser on Tomb Raider Chronicles Extras. Loads of promotional stuff was made for the game, featuring Lara in its Angel of Darkness form. We have ads, E3 presentations, a music video, and an interview from Lara herself. Lara Croft was all over the place during those days, and the hype for Angel of Darkness was soaring high. After years of using the same old engine for the PS1 Tomb Raider games, Angel of Darkness became Core Design's training ground for experiment and innovation. By introducing a new engine, smoother animations, new movesets, and cutting-edge graphics, there is no doubt that this is indeed the next-gen Tomb Raider experience in the early 2000s. Or is it? The way you look, the way you move, your overall aura is like a magnet that makes me want you more. But under all that facade is a tainted history that others have overlooked. As I waited for your arrival, I heard things that aren't pleasing as they sound. Though being skeptical, I still kept pushing myself to try and try over and over again.
Of course, I'm also starring in what I expect to be the #1 selling video game this Christmas. Tomb Raider: The Angel of Darkness for the PlayStation 2 and PC.
And boy, that line didn't age well, doesn't it? Although Angel of Darkness was hyped excessively, the final product didn't turn out well. So, before we get to the good stuff, we gotta take a trip down memory lane first. There are several factors that played a role for this to happen. First, Core Design was getting tired of Tomb Raider at that point. In fact, they even tried to end the series on Tomb Raider 4, The Last Revelation, and attempted to kill Lara. So we now have a clear vision that the devs themselves are getting tired of making the same game on this franchise. But hey, she's a cult icon of gaming in the 90s. Of course they would do anything for money, right? Second, the devs moving to a new engine means having to build again from scratch. This is where they spent most of their time during production, as they continue to experiment with stuff that the engine can handle. This is where Core's ambitions of reinventing Tomb Raider are finally coming to fruition. However, Eidos Interactive, the publisher, being annoying as hell, wanted to push the game to be released as soon as possible. Angel of Darkness was originally supposed to be released on 2002, but since Core encountered a lot of issues, they wanted to spend a few more months or even a year to polish it. However, Eidos said no and wanted the game to be released as early as summer 2003, to coincide it with a second Tomb Raider movie, The Cradle of Life, as a part of a marketing ploy, which eventually didn't turn out that well. And this is where I think Core Design was in the wrong too. During Chronicles development, the team was split in half, where some work for Chronicles, whereas others are starting to work on the Angel of Darkness. And when Chronicles finally wrapped up, the team that's working on Chronicles migrated with the AOD staff, and didn't expect it that everything was still a mess on their side. What's more, is that the team had trouble utilizing the PS2's tech during that time, since it's a big break for them to jump from the PS1 to the PS2. So it meant more tweaking and spending more time building the engine for PS2's first Tomb Raider game. So a part of me can't blame Eidos wanting to release the game as soon as possible. because Core was taking too much of their time during development. Angel of Darkness was in development for 3 years and was still far from finish because of Core's ambitious take on this next-gen Tomb Raider experience. Though I don't have a problem with developers being creative and wanting to try something new. But if you can't do it, then there's nothing wrong with sacrificing stuff that are just too ambitious, I guess. But after all, it's also Eidos' fault too for being too pushy. Both sides of the coin are to blame indeed. I was right. You're not perfect. But after all the imperfections that I saw and experienced, you're still worth a try that I have never regretted. Who would have thought your imperfections made me feel deeply the more I get a hold on them? I know Angel of Darkness had a million bugs if you want to exaggerate it that way. But despite of its imperfections, this is still one of my most favorite TR games featuring classic Lara Croft. The storyline alone is what made me hook with the game. Core Design wanted to make this game more grittier and grounded, and in my opinion, they really achieve it in terms of the story. Angel of Darkness plot is, for me, the best one in the entire Tomb Raider franchise. So many characters involved, there's twists and interesting backstories too. Though there's no denying that there are some plot holes in the story because of the game's rush state. Just imagine if the game was finished and the story was even more fleshed out. Another thing is the musical score. Even the main theme as you boot up the game gave me goosebumps. The entire score as a whole gives a dark tone and mood that matches the game's premise. And I applaud Peter Connelly for his brilliant mind and his fantastic rendition of the game's tone and theme through the soundtracks alone. In terms of gameplay, this is the first Tomb Raider game that introduces stealth as a mechanic. Although a bit clunky at times, I still had fun just stealth killing some enemies in the game, especially when you get into the Louvre and have to deal with the guards. Another one is the cinematography. Angel of Darkness cutscenes have this movie-like feeling because of its cinematography, as you can see from scenes like this in the Louvre chase. Curtis Nephilim boss fight. Or the final confrontation with Eckhart.
Still alive, Miss Croft. You are resilient.
And lastly, is Janelle Elliott's portrayal of Lara in Angel of Darkness.
And stole their body parts like a cheap grave robber.
As I will now take yours.
To wake this thing, you are grotesque.
We already heard her as Lara for the first time on the last revelation, and it was perfect. But she raised the bar even higher on the Angel of Darkness, giving Lara this dark and sassy vibe that matches the overall tone of the game.
Scary, huh? For you.
It is my destiny to breathe hell on earth. You are nothing to me.
Do you know, it's gonna be a real pleasure to shut you up.
Just when I thought I saw the final nail to your coffin, I'm glad that someone out there still cares for your visage. As the majority accepted that you're already in your deathbed, curious minds are still eager to bury you out of the darkness, shedding a new light that symbolizes you will never be laid to rest. Though the game was considered as dead by the majority, fans are still finding ways to restore AOD to its full glory. You can check out Reborn in Shadows here on YouTube and their incredible work on modding Angel of Darkness, restoring dialogues, features, and cut areas in the game. Another one is Julian Guba, also known as Freak Raider, who is working on AOD 1.5, which is a remastered version of the game using Unreal Engine. Look how awesome it is! There's even an entire thread on Tomb Raider forums for playing Angel of Darkness in its almost restored form too. This includes fixed controls, PS2 features ported to the PC, restored game assets, and more. This made me wondering, if fans can restore or remaster the game, why can't the current TR devs do it? Is it because they don't have the budget to do so? Or they simply want AOD to be forgotten like it didn't exist? In today's gaming generation, where a lot of games are remastered and remade, Angel of Darkness could definitely use one too. You were born like an unfinished tapestry, but eager hands are willing to restore your beauty. If this is the last goodbye, you will always forever remain in our hearts.